Everyone's telling you that you can build an app with AI now. And honestly, a lot of it is true. The tools have changed. You can prototype something in a weekend that would have taken months 3 years ago. But here is what hasn't changed. In 13 years of building software, I've seen the same pattern over and over again. A company has a real problem they want to solve with an app. They find a developer, or now they open an AI tool and they start building. And somewhere along the way, the project goes sideways. More money than planned, more time than planned, and an app that kind of works, but not really. This video is about what I would actually do today if I had an app idea. Not the theory, the actual step. Whether you are hiring a developer, building it yourself with AI, or doing both. People usually blame the developer when a project goes wrong. And sometimes that's fair, but honestly, most of the time it isn't. Most projects start with something like, we want an app that helps our field team manage inspections, or we need a client portal for our members, or well-working shop. Sounds clear, but it isn't. Does it work offline? What happens when a user loses connection? How does a member sign up? Inside the app or on your website? What's the one thing a user must be able to do on day one? Every single question of those is a week of development. And if nobody answered them before you start, the developer answered them for you, or right now AI fills the gap. The second thing that kills projects is scope creep. It never starts big. It starts with, can you just add this one thing, then another one, then another one? The problem isn't that people ask for changes, but the problem is there is no agreed baseline to measure changes against. Let me tell you about a project. A company had an online store built on WooCommerce. It worked, but not to the extent they were happy with. Then they got this idea for a mobile app. They wanted to gain market share, reach more users, sell more products. That's the business, right? And they wanted to be first. That was a great business instinct. The challenge was they didn't have experience with app development, and there was real competitive pressure. So things moved fast. What they were missed wasn't ambition or a good idea. What they were missing was a technical partner from the beginning. Someone who could say, let's take 2 days, map this out, and then move fast with confidence. Instead, the approach was more like jumping out of the plane and figuring out how to build a parachute on the way down. They started with freelancer. It didn't work out. Then they came to us. And here is the honest part. We also made a mistake. We assumed the fundamentals were already in place. We trusted that the scope and assumptions were solid to move forward. We were wrong. Lesson learned. What happened next was scope creep in slow motion. The onboarding flow for new users changed several times. Should users sign up directly in the app or through the website? That's the question that should have been answered on a whiteboard in one afternoon. Instead, it got answered in code multiple times. At the end, we delivered a mobile app for iOS and Android, plus a completely new Shopify-based shop replacing the old WooCommerce store. The project grew far beyond what anyone called finalize the project at the start. And here is the thing. Having a partner from the beginning would have been significantly cheaper than fixing everything at the end. A few days of structured planning upfront saves a week of rework later. That's not a theory. That's what we've learned the hard way on this project. The brief describes what someone wants, not what they want, what they need. What you want is the full vision. What you need is the smallest thing that solves the problem today. My name is Piotr. I'm the founder of Rocksoft, a software development company based in Poland. Since 2013, we've been building and shipping mobile and web apps for businesses across Norway, the UK, the US, and Western Europe. But more importantly, we've been brought into fixed projects that went sideways. Recovery, rescue, stabilization, and every single time the root cause wasn't bad code. It was that nobody defined what needed to be built before building started. So let me show you the framework we use and that you can use yourself. There is a principle we follow for every project: strategy before technology. Before you pick any tool, any developer, any AI, you do the foundation work first, in 3 phases. First one, stop talking about the app. Instead ask, what problem are we solving? For who? What does that person do today instead? Remember that online store I mentioned? Great idea, real market opportunity. But when we finally sat down and asked the basic questions, what problem does the app solve that the website doesn't? How do new users sign up in the app or on the website? What's the one thing they must be able to do on the day one? Those answers weren't there yet. Not because anyone was careless, but because there was no one in the room early enough to ask those questions. And because we also skipped that step, we ended up rebuilding the onboarding flow multiple times. A user journey that could have been mapped on a whiteboard in one afternoon cost weeks of development. Then define version 1. What does the user need on day 1? Not would be nice or needed. Everything else goes to version 2. Phase 2. Find what could blow up the project. Does this need to connect to any existing system? Are there compliance requirements, platform rules, offline mode? In that project, no one had checked upfront how existing WooCommerce payment logic works and how it translates into a mobile app. No one has asked about App Store rules for in-app purchases. And the onboarding flow kept changing mid-build because the user journey was never mapped before development started. We ended up replacing the entire WooCommerce backend with Shopify as a part of the project. That wasn't in anyone's original plan. All of this could have been caught in a few days of structured discovery, before a single line of code was written. These aren't reasons not to build. They are things to find in week 1, not month 4. Phase 3, commercial model. And I want to be honest here. If the scope is clearly defined and non-complex, A fixed price is absolutely possible. We do it. It protects you. But if the project is complex, inherited, or still has significant unknowns, a fixed price is dangerous. Time and materials with clear milestones is what protects you. The red flag? If someone promises you a fixed price on an unclear scope, they are either absorbing risks they will pass back to you or just cutting corners. The honest approach? Pay for clarity first, then decide how to pay for the build. Now here is where 2026 changes the game. If I had an app idea today, here is what I would do before talking to any developer. I would just wipe code it. Use Cursor, Claude, or any other tools. Whatever tools are available there. Build the ugliest, most functional prototype you can. Don't worry about security. Don't worry about design. Don't worry about scale. Focus only on this. Does this thing solve the problem I describe in phase 1? This is not a production app. This is a thinking tool. And here is what it won't do. It won't connect to your existing system. It won't talk to your ERP, CRM, or any payment provider. It won't handle the real data flow between your app and the rest of your business. For that, you need a tech partner who understands integrations. Otherwise, you end up with a nice-looking app that does everything perfectly, but in isolation. And an app that doesn't connect to the real world is just useless. Our research found some real interesting numbers. Around 35% of AI-generated code introduces security vulnerabilities, 1.7 times more defects than human-written code, and up to 85% of AI projects fail to deliver meaningful results. So yes, AI can build your prototype, but AI cannot tell you if the code is secure, maintainable, or if it will survive real users. The prototype isn't the product. The prototype is the specification. It's the best brief you ever written, except it's clickable. Then take that prototype to a trusted tech partner. They look at the code, they identified what's missing, security, architecture, test coverage, production infrastructure. You've shortened your feedback loop from months to days, and you've walked in with something almost no one brings to a developer conversation. Proof that the concept works. There is actually a model emerging for this, where you keep building with AI in a managed environment, and an engineering team reviews, tests, and deploys everything you create. You describe what you want. AI generates the code. Engineering makes sure it works. It's like having a development team where you are the product owner and AI is the junior developer, with senior engineering catching every mistake. So let me sum up this for you. If you have an idea in 2026, step 1, get the right people in the room. Write down the problem in one sentence. If you can't agree, stop there. Step 2, list every feature. For each one, ask, does removing this break the core use case? If not, it's not version 1. Step 3, write down every assumption you haven't checked. Check them before talking to any developer. Step 4, wipe code a prototype. Ugly is fine. Functional is what matters. Step 5, take that prototype plus your problem, scope and assumptions to a tech partner you trust. 2 days may be free and you'll be in a completely different position. And that's it. Strategy before technology. You can do all of it by yourself, a day or two with the right people. If you want to go deeper, I will leave a link to our website in the description. And if you've been through a project that went sideways, I would love to hear the story. Drop it in the comments below. What happened really?